going to present my platform for let's say open hardware hacking, and there's also a dimension of let's say human interaction, because I want to facilitate workshops. I mean hacking in workshops as opposed to I mean just by yourselves. So here. Yeah, we just started. Yeah, so yeah, and so yeah, I'm presenting my platform, which I've called MuzHack, which is basically it's a way for people to share their music hardware designs, and also part of the idea is to facilitate workshops, typically for building music hardware together, like this guy on the right, Nicholas Collins. He's agreed to join my site as a member, and he's been hacking music hardware since the 70s. He's also an electroacoustic composer, and he's made pieces that are basically based around custom hardware configurations that he's made, like Pea Soup, I think, is a famous piece. And he's also worked with David Tudor, who are also here used to make pieces around custom hardware. So the basic concept it's a searchable catalog of hardware designs, and typically those designs are open and reproducible. Although I mean it's not necessary. I mean I'm also open to people posting proprietary projects. So this is basically the catalog UI. And yeah, currently all the designs are Creative Commons licensed, which means it's completely possible to make new designs. I mean, based on what's posted there. I mean, given that they are open and under Creative Commons, I mean, you can be inspired and make your own derivative, so to speak, work of that, which is a core idea, because in software development we do that all the time in the open source community. It's very common to so-called fork a project and make modifications according to your own needs, and a lot of larger projects are based on previous projects. Like, I mean, for example, OS X is based on the BSD Unix, which is a great example of that. So currently I only support media in the form of pictures, but I'm going to embed videos as well. YouTube and Vimeo is the idea, so that people can demonstrate their creations, because that's a feature that people have really. I've got a lot of feedback that people really want to see demonstrations of how the instruments work, which is perfectly natural. Yeah, and typically a project has a description enclosed. No, sorry, not a description, but a manual for how the project may be reproduced. So, for example, an idea is that people might get together and say want to build a synth module, for example, and they might have a workshop or kind of a get together, and based on kind of the information available, they can actually reproduce something that's been invented by someone else. And the platform also has a social profile. So the person depicted here is the composer Olivia Block. She's agreed to join my site because she's interested in advertising listening workshops mainly, and she's not a maker of hardware herself, but she does arrange workshops. So she basically said that she needed kind of an out or a channel to advertise that capability, because she didn't want to mix her composer activities and her workshop activities. So she just doesn't want to advertise the workshops on her artist website. So basically, she's going to have a workshop profile on my platform. And I've also got the ability for members to post SoundCloud snippets of their work to kind of let the world know what kind of work they do. I've also implemented a forum in order to encourage community discussions, which is based around the Discourse software. And when it comes to future ideas, I want to support basically workshop announcements, like specific dates for workshops held by members, and workshops typically associated with projects, so that if you're interested in a certain device, you might let's say see that there's an upcoming workshop in your area, for example, is what I'm thinking. So you can join and meet other people who are interested in perhaps building this design together, or just using it. And I also have the idea of having some sort of shop functionality, so that people can buy components, for example, or buy fully assembled hardware, because there are already companies who create open source designs and profit by selling components and actually assembled versions. And they also, Befaco, for example, also have workshops where people build their modules. So I think I want to basically show you how the application works. So, like I said, it's searchable. So we can search for violin instruments, and you can also search on tags, which means that projects might be tagged, which typically correspond to categories. So there are basically 3 instruments with the violin tag, and this is, for example, a 3D printed violin, which is also MIDI compatible, and their instructions are enclosed for how to build it, and you can download the required 3D models. So given these 3D models, you should be able to reproduce the violin yourself. And creating projects or posting projects is very easy, which I'm basically demonstrating that right now. So all text is in Markdown format, which is basically a very easy it's a very easy syntax for creating formatted text. So below the editor, there's a live preview of the outputs. So basically you get a preview of what you're typing. So should be quite easy to use. And pictures are added through drag and drop. And same thing with files. You just drag a whole folder of files into the project, and when you click create, it starts uploading all the files, the pictures, and then finally registers the project on the server. So here's the newly created project, and once you've created the project, you can edit the thing in the same way as you created it. And as I explained before, it's possible to visit other users' profiles, although I don't yet have any way to search for users, although I'm going to implement that, so you can search for users as well as projects. I really want to build out this social dimension eventually. Like I want to have comments, for example, so that people can comment on projects and perhaps like them and so on. So you can, for example, you can see, for example, what type of projects Nicholas here is into. Is my idea. But yeah, that's it for my presentation. So any questions? Yes? Right now it's about 30, but these are kind of seed projects for the most part. Yeah, I don't really have any user base to speak of yet, but I'm working with makers in Berlin, where I'm based right now. So I found 3 people I might collaborate with, at least. So I might, for example, collaborate with someone who's having a class about building synthesizers in January. So he was open to the idea of kind of basing the class around MuzHack. So hopefully things will happen in the near future.
May I go on with one question?
Yeah, of course.
There's any clear connection between their derivative project and one instance code?
Not yet, but I want to have it. I mean, I want to have that concept because I know that exists on other sites, like Thingiverse, for example. Yeah, they have this so-called remix concept.
Yeah.
So I want to implement that. But I mean, this is kind of this is on the prototype stage still, so there's a lot to do.
And there's a section, requirement section about the recycling or exchange of electronic material.
And not yet, no. I mean, I don't have any concrete ideas for it, but I guess I've been thinking about it. But I mean, it's a very good suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should try. I don't know how to do it, but maybe we should kind of try to implement some sort of functionality for that, to exchange parts and
I would humbly suggest that because
and so on.
there are projects in exhibitions that are too expensive to ship them back because they are just built there, and the various components are just thrown out or
Yeah.
put aside. And if there's anybody willing to make a shipment within the same country, that would actively
Yeah.
recycle it.
I mean, for example, there could be a forum section for this, like an exchange section. But
Yeah, forums, but also knowing what kind of
Yeah.
material is available where.
Yeah.
This would give it.
Yeah, that's
instant
a good point. I mean,
picture
so I mean, per project you could perhaps see available materials.
Yeah, and also borrowing would be
Yeah.
nice. Like I have this, I don't need,
Yeah.
but I'm looking for that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's somebody that would match this.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion without a doubt. I mean, it's I've had the idea of kind of linking to makerspaces where you can have access to the equipment you need. For example, like if you're going to build a 3D violin, you can be pointed to a nearby makerspace with a 3D printer, and maybe you could kind of expand on that concept and point to available materials, if you see what I mean. So it sounds like, I mean, yeah, it sounds like a good kind of, yeah, it's a good idea.
And the last thing is that physical workshops are, especially in this field, are essential. But having also some kind of online workshops, I mean, I know it's completely different, but more kind of tutorial, or, you know, I'm building something, and maybe for 1 hour I can ask somebody else to have a look what I'm doing, if there's anything wrong, as a video exchange would also have. I mean, the kind of educational approach that when I can access knowledge.
Well, I guess that's something I could talk to educators about. I mean, like Nicholas, for example. Because I'm not an expert in that area at all, but yeah, I mean, I could talk to these guys and ask if if they could kind of help me design functionality in that area. It's a very good idea. Absolutely.
Or it can also be, I mean, sometimes you need first to meet physically, and you can have a workshop, but then you can have a kind of follow-up, an educational follow-up online, because you already know the person, the project, the approach, so it can be useful.
Yeah. Could it be possible perhaps to link workshops and the forum? So you could have a follow-up thread where you kind of keep discussing with Nicholas, for example, afterwards. It's a possible idea. I mean, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, it might be better to just exercise the forum for that purpose. But yeah, that's a great idea as well, because yeah, I would think there might be a need if people are really interested, and there would be a need for them to keep learning. I'm thinking. Any other questions? Do you have a question? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess it's over then. Yeah.